biggest communication problem is we do not listen to understand, we listen to reply. And I think you have to keep that in mind when you're dealing with government, because often, or more often than not, the reason someone goes to see the government is to ask for money. So they are used to having meetings set up day after day in a minister's office where someone will come in and say, we have a problem, we need it to get fixed and we need X number of dollars for you to be able to fix the problem. In the current climate, no one has any money to do anything. They're all struggling both at a federal and a state level to be able to balance the books and get things back into surplus quickly. So if they've got every industry group, every interest group, every business coming in asking for money, they can't hand it out. So you need to be going in with a solution to a problem. Sometimes presenting a solution to a problem they don't even know they have yet. And it's standing out in that space that you can provide a lot of value and add a lot of value, and more often than not, get exactly what you want. So the best way to engage. I'm obviously not going to stand up here and give away all my trade secrets, otherwise I won't be able to have any clients in the future. But I do want to talk to you a little bit about the best way to engage from what I've observed. And I think the easiest way is to be authentic and be yourself, but don't go in with significantly high expectations that they'll be able to solve all your problems in 5 minutes. You're all very, very busy business people, and a minister's office, particularly on a sitting day, if you're coming down to Parliament House in Canberra to talk to government, is exceptionally busy. Most of the staffers would start their day somewhere between 6 and 7 a.m. They're in the office by 7:30. They're prepping the boss, they're having meetings, they're getting ready for question time. And in a minister's office, the more senior the minister, the harder that process is, because there's more significance attached to question time for them. Although it looks sometimes like a complete farce, I can guarantee you a lot of effort goes into making sure they're ready to answer questions on the day. But what you need to remember is there's not a lot of time. So you can't walk into a session with a minister expecting that you're going to have half an hour to sit down and run them through a 20-page slide presentation, because it just doesn't happen. What you need to do is to be in a position where you can pitch your idea to them in 5 minutes or less. There are some days where you'll have a meeting at 11 o'clock, it'll start at 11:20 and you'll get to 11:25 and that's it. And it's not fun being on the other side of the table where that's the way it works, but that's the reality of their day sometimes. So my best advice to you is know exactly what you want to say and say it. If you're in a position where you've piqued their interest and they want you to keep talking, they'll invite you to keep talking. But the best advice I can give you in dealing with politicians is they love to hear the sound of their own voice. As harsh as that may sound, they do. They're important people and they like to be treated with respect. But the point behind that is that if you're talking to them and you give them a 5-minute spiel, they're probably going to want to ask you questions, or they'll want to tell you what they think about your idea, and you have to make sure you've got enough time in a meeting to give them that opportunity. The next question is who to engage with. Sometimes you don't need to see the Prime Minister, you don't need to see the Premier, you don't need to see the Treasurer. Maybe the person you need to see is a backbencher who's on the rise, who has a level of interest in something that you want to push, or the idea that you have, or the solution to the problem that you think you have. So making sure you see the right person can be far more important than seeing the person at the top of the tree. At some point, yes, you have to keep working your way up, but if you have the right advocates working for you in Parliament House, through political circles, in the public service, they can make your job so much easier. Second to that, if you do get a meeting with a minister, the most important people in that office is not always the minister, it's their staff, because the staff are the one that have to do the briefings, have to understand the issues to make sure that the minister knows exactly what they're talking about. So if you can have a pre-meeting with staff to make sure they know what you're likely to say, what you'd like to get out of the meeting, what other opportunities might be around for government post that can be more valuable than the 5 or 10 minutes that you might get with the minister.